Hi, and welcome to momsden. My name is Ivona, and today I'll be showing you the basics of Destruction Warlock rotation the way it currently is in Shadowlands. This is a pretty cool spec to play, and even though it's simple enough, there are some tips and tricks you need to know in order to play properly. I also need to mention that this is a super simple guide made for those who are just starting out with this spec, so if you're a more advanced player looking for situational rotations, you want to look into those more. Before we begin, I highly suggest taking a second to click that sub button. I do a bunch of super simple WoW guides for classes, specs, dungeons, raids, mounts, pets, Torghast, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you enjoy getting some easy wins in WoW, and I'm pretty sure we all love those, I hope I'll be seeing you around. When it comes to these particular spells, they are highly dependent on my talent choices, and since I made a separate guide for Destruction Warlock talents for both single target and AoE, I suggest you watch that video as well to get familiar with my picks, as it will help you better understand your rotation. I'll link that video for you in the description as well. When it comes to single target, I'm going to assume you're talented into Cataclysm. This is something you generally want to do first, as it applies Immolate to your target, but make sure you're independently keeping track of your Immolate dots regardless of the Cataclysm because it has a cooldown. You also want to make sure you're casting Conflagrate whenever you have charges available, because that's one of the ways for you to generate shards, and make sure to use every cooldown available of your Summon Infernal. Another one of your cooldowns is Channel Demon Fire, and you want to be taking every advantage of it you can since it's super strong. When it comes to spending your charges on a single target, your main way to do that is Chaos Bolt, as it does a massive amount of damage. Make sure to cast it whenever you've got a high number of shards so you avoid overcapping on almost all costs. Finally, you want to make the best use of your Incinerate spell, as it's your main filler spell and your shard generator. As you can see, the spells are somewhat situational and there is no specific rule on which order you want to cast them in. Your main tasks are to have Immolate applied at all times, make shards with Conflagrate and Incinerate, spend shards on Chaos Bolt whenever you have them, and use your Infernal and Demon Fire cooldowns. You'll be doing a lot more damage when you have your trinkets and cooldowns up, but if you take care of your resources well, you should be able to do a great deal of damage even when the cooldowns are off limits. When it comes to your multi-target rotation, the situation is a bit different, so I'll talk about it separately. This rotation is made assuming you've chosen the bulk of talents I have, and as I mentioned previously, you can check out that talents guide in the description for more guidance. Your main task in this case is to always be creating new shards with Incinerate and Conflagrate in order to cast Rain of Fire whenever possible. You need to be aware of your target's health and judge whether it's worth to cast Immolate on them at all, and if it isn't, just keep up with your Rain of Fire and you'll do just fine. Another super important thing to do is to summon your Infernal at all costs, and hopefully you're talented into Rain of Chaos so you can get even more of them. Personally, I've chosen to also get the Wilfred Sigil of Superior Summoning Legendary for even shorter cooldowns on my Infernals. We also really need to talk about Havoc, as it is your absolute duty to take advantage of it whenever you have from 2 to 4 targets available. So please keep it in mind and cast it on your secondary target whenever you've got a cooldown. Chaos Bolt is something you'll rarely have time to use in a multi-target environment, but if your cooldowns are off limits and your targets are still in high health, it may be worth it. It all comes down to your better judgment, so have some of that when you're fighting trash. And that is pretty much it when it comes to your Destruction Warlock rotation. As you can see, it is pretty simple, but you're gonna need to practice judging the situation you're in, and hopefully this guide will help you do just that. If you now know what to do with your Destro spells, please leave a like so more people can see this video. And if you'd like to see more, press that sub button and stay up to date on more super simple WoW guides. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Have fun dominating with Destro, and bye bye.